the king!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Ahsoka breakdown and review. I'll tell you what, this series keeps getting better and better. It's, I knew it would be cool when they bring in Thrawn, right? And, they made us wait, 5 episodes? But I'll tell you what, I think that they knocked it out of the park. I think I actually enjoyed this episode more than the last one, and I love the last episode with Hayden coming back and everything. And I think they did great. A couple of nitpicky things I have that we'll kind of talk about a little bit throughout the breakdown here. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start this thing up, and we're gonna bring in the video, and like usual, I can't play the audio, but we're gonna get the subtext on there and all that. So let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys, and we'll kind of break this down. Let me know in the chat. I put up a poll. Let me know what you give this episode. I definitely give it an A. And like I said, I knew I would love the Thrawn. And, I'm so glad they kept the same actor, Lars Mikkelsen. I'll just get this out of here right away. So online, I've been seeing a lot of people like, oh, it's Fat Thrawn. Listen, man, it's been like 12 years. They let the guy have a piece of pizza. It's like, it's not like that big of a deal. I didn't even really notice it until I started seeing people, talk about it online. So it's, whatever. I just think that's kind of a really cheesy way to like be negative toward it. So, all right, let's break this thing down here. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. I got it booted up now for you. There you go. All right, so we start off the episode with a great shot of the Purgo coming through hyperspace. I thought that was pretty badass. I also like they make it look different from regular hyperspace. I don't know if it's just because it's the Purgo. I don't know if it's because we're going to a different galaxy. But I mean, whatever they did here, it looks great. And then we get this cool little scene between Ahsoka and Huyang. And, I was actually surprised because I said yesterday, I really thought that we weren't even going to get very much Ahsoka at all, if any. And I thought it would be a very heavy episode, or a very central episode on Thrawn. And I assume we would get Balon, and I'm sure we would get Shin. I actually thought we'd get more Ezra. We do get Ezra in this episode, but it's not really till the end of it. And so I was actually kind of shocked to even see these two guys show up in this episode, because I really thought it was going to be without them. But they're not in it very long. And then they're kind of talking about they're talking about Sabine and how Ahsoka had figured out basically that she went on purpose. Well, I mean, I had a schedule for 9. He's usually off by 9, so yeah, it's all good, dude. But I think that Dave Filoni, that is, I think Dave really did a nice job. The conversation here is really good because Ahsoka, like I said, she kind of told him that, well, listen, Sabine actually left before, or it was her choice to leave and go, and she actually calls her selfish in this scene here. And Huyang kind of like, he seems almost shocked, I guess. So it was really interesting at this whole conversation. Then they started talking about memories, and oh man, I was really, really hoping Huyang was going to tell us like a really good story. And you can see here, this is where Ahsoka said that she could see it through the map. And as we kind of continue this conversation, you can tell Ahsoka's a little bit annoyed or maybe disappointed in her choice. But then Huyang, like right here on the screen, Huyang says, perhaps for Sabine, it was the only choice, and because, Ahsoka's basically like, listen, if she doesn't go, it's basically, she kind of went and she could have ended the war. Like everything could have ended, Thrawn may have never been able to come back, and she basically did it because she wanted to find Ezra. So it's an interesting little dynamic that they have going here. So eventually, Ahsoka, yeah, here it is right here. Ahsoka says, on second thought, tell me one of your stories. And then we get a great line here from Huang. If I can grab it here, if I can get it on screen. It's always tricky on Disney Plus. And there we go. And he starts it off by saying in a galaxy far, far away, which was absolutely amazing. And that's the name of the episode, Far, Far Away. So I thought it was a great little intro to the episode. And it really kind of got us into, into the episode and what we were about to see. What? You better make sure those notifications are on, Blaze. What's up, Kenneth? How you doing, brother? Umpty, what's going on? Christina Payne. They also kind of answer your whale question. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'm glad. Like at least it makes sense. Yeah, definitely. I was really happy with that. So we kind of pick up here. We have Sabine. She's obviously locked up on the ship, and they are kind of coming out of hyperspace. And she has a little conversation here with Balon, and she's basically like, "Well, yo, like, what's up? Like, I thought we had a deal," and he's just kind of like, "Yeah, well, you're still like a prisoner." So he kind of just leaves her in that jail cell, and she's not too happy about that. And so we kind of head back to the main bridge here, and they kind of are basically coming out of hyperspace at this point. And she asks about Sabine, and he just says that she's not very happy and she's very impatient. And you can see here that they are, and this is a really good shot if I can get it. So they're coming. So it's funny because maybe this is the galaxy, because again you can kind of see the like the little how like when they're going through hyperspace you get usually those like shots of white light, and this is a little bit different. So maybe it is because they're going through to a different galaxy at a different speed rate or something like that. Think back to like Spaceballs when they go through. What do they go through? They go through light speed, and then it's not fast enough, and they eventually go to ludicrous speed, and it's like all these different crazy colors. So I don't know. It's kind of like that, I guess. And then there's a good shot when they're coming out. I love how like the little trails are over here, and I just think it looks really, really cool. I thought it was a great widescreen shot there for it. So I thought it was pretty cool. What's up, Quick? So as we continue, we are going to kind of go forward, and now we're going to. I know they mentioned the name of the planet. I know it starts with a P, and of course I can't remember right now. If you guys know in the chat what it was called or how to spell it, let me know. So basically, they're receiving the beacon from this planet, which I can't remember the name of. So I know they say it. They say it a couple times actually in the episode, but and of course I'm not grabbing it. I know it starts with a P. So if you guys remember what it's called, I think I'm just missing it too. Yeah. Anyways, we might see it again later in the episode. Like I said, let me know. Oh, there, Pville. Yeah, it's something like that. It's like PRE Preville or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's called Planet. Yeah. So they go and grab Sabine, and then we kind of head over to. There's an interesting little thing here. Like when they're taking this little shuttle down to the planet, I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought about this, but again, if I can get it to stop. But Sabine and the way Shin Hati kind of looks at her, it's an interesting look, and I know it's going to be super hard to grab. I'm trying not to get copyrighted. They're so crazy with playing the video. That's a good shot right there. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to play this. I probably skipped it, but she definitely looks at her, and it's an interesting look. It's kind of like it's either right before or right after this scene right here, where she kind of looks at her and she's like, I don't know. It's just to me, it's a weird look. And gosh, I wish I could get it on screen. It's just the way she looks at her. It was just something. It was something odd, and I don't know. I don't know what it means. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to grab it. It's so hard to grab. It's like right in between here somewhere. But anyways, so I think there's something going on with Shin, and there's more in the later in the episode too that will kind of tie it all together. So they land down on this planet, and we do get mentioned, and it's like right around here. We get mentioned that the whales, the reason why they don't have like a return trip is because it's kind of like salmon. That's when they swim upstream, they basically go there to die. So that's basically how we did this. Filoni's like, listen, this is why they could never come back. So these whales go across this huge journey, and they basically go to this planet to die, and that's kind of crazy. So the whales, it's just the path they take. So the whales actually aren't made or aren't born here or anything like that. They actually come here to die. It's interesting. But at least it makes sense, because I mean, again, if you think of real life, that's exactly what salmon do. They're born, they swim upstream, they get to where they have to go, and yeah, there you go. Umpty said it's the end of their migration. Yeah, it's a very interesting little thing that he ended up using, and it makes sense. So I was pretty happy with the explanation, because I always wondered, like, why can't you just take the whales back? Well, there you go. There's your answer. So as they land on the ship, or on the planet, the base here or whatever, we run into the three Night Sisters. Love it. Now I don't think there's any like Night Sisters we've seen in lore before. I know. I'm pretty sure Morgan calls her mother, but I know it's not Mother Talzin, because Mother Talzin died. So I don't. It doesn't look like her anyways, because she's definitely more unique. These three almost all look kind of the same. So I really love that they're bringing the Night Sisters into this. Man, oh man, I hope that we somehow will get Azaz Ventress back in canon at some point. Because remember, she is technically one of these guys. So I think around the bring around the planet makes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, it was again, like, it seemed to me like we were watching a movie. I can say that for probably most of these episodes. I'm gonna be really curious to see one day when I can just like go and just like watch it all and not have any like, it even stinks when you have to like kind of like stop and then start the next episode, because you still get those little breaks instead of it just flowing through. But I think it's gonna be really interesting to watch this all in like just one sit down, or and it's obviously going to be quite a while to finish it, and it's going to probably end up being what, 6 hours about. But still, I think it'll be fun to watch all the way through as like one big sitting, kind of like Anthony was talking about how he wanted to do that. But I absolutely love the Night Sisters. I love the look. They look just like I thought they would. And you can see they all have like all these little orbs. Now, I don't know if that's the same type of orb that we saw earlier in the season. They look a little smaller, and we kind of see that it does have some magic attached to it. So one interesting thing, I'm going to see if I can get the words on the screen, because so they're asking about where Thrawn is, and then they say that, oh, I passed it. Before they use those to kind of chain up Sabine, there's one really interesting line. So he okay, it's like right past this. So it's going to be like right here. So right here, she says it reeks of Jedi. Now this is interesting, because first of all, we still have yet to see Sabine use any kind of force. We know she can wield the lightsaber. That's about it. We really have not seen her. I really wonder if they are talking about Baylan right here. Because there's a couple things that happen with Balon later in this episode that I'm starting to believe that he is not exactly as evil as we all think he is. Um, I think they're sensing him, not Sabine. So you guys can let me know what you guys think in the chat. But I really think that he is. I think the sisters are actually sensing Balon, but because they kind of know that Sabine is wrapped up and already I don't know. Maybe Balon is able to kind of use the Force or something to go ahead and put that sense onto Sabine. I don't know how it would work, but probably use Ahsoka's perfume. Yeah. I don't know. I that's what I think. I think there's definitely more to Balon than we think. Um, I'm really excited for Balon for the next 2 episodes. Dude, Ray Stevenson's been killing it, man. I mean, he might be the best character in the show. I mean, he's so good. A lot of you know what he reminds me of a little bit of is like a combination of like Qui-Gon and like almost like Dooku. It's like a combo of those two guys. It's really, really good. So they do sense it, and then they kind of use their little orb things, and they end up taking her and imprisoning her down wherever into another cell. And then this is, I'll tell you what. So I'm assuming that this is just like the droid that takes off and flies back up there. I don't know why. Like, why is the plane leaving them? Like why would the spaceship just leave them there? It's a little odd. I mean, you have to eventually go back up there anyways. Although I do have a theory about that too. Because I think if you look at that ring, the way the ship was, and you'll see in a minute, kind of like what I'm thinking. But before we get that, I wanted to see if I can get through some of this conversation because this is maybe the most interesting part of the entire episode, this conversation that they're having. So he kind of sensing something, right? So he is basically sensing something bigger in the world. Maybe that's why Thrawn wants to get off of it. So again, there's some rumors I've heard. People are like, "Oh, is it the Bendu?" Okay, if it is the Bendu, how in the world did he get there? Now, I don't know if he can travel galaxies because we've seen the Bendu kind of disappear and stuff. And, again, this is all from Star Wars Rebels. I don't know if it's the Bendu. I think it will be fantastic. Another theory I have from yesterday was, what if this is Palpatine? This is the beginning of the emergence of Palpatine. And that's what he is sensing. And I don't, Thrawn, again, Thrawn, remember what I said yesterday, Thrawn does not have any ability of the Force. He's actually afraid of the Force. It's like one of the things he fears most. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this. But I really, really think that, yeah, I agree. It's awful that, we can't have him continuing this. But I really think it's going to be something bigger like that. What I'm praying it's not is like Snoke. I mean, we kind of know at this point that, Palpatine basically was Snoke for the most part. So I guess it would still be Palpatine in a way. But you just got to remember, like, we're only about, at this point, about 18 years, 17, 18 years away from actually, getting to the sequel trilogy. Rey's probably going to be born here in the next year or two if she's not already born. I don't know how old we think that Rey is, but so I mean, I think they have to have some type of link because they're not going to just stay in this galaxy and then like kind of start their own thing, because we know where it heads. So that's kind of a couple theories that I have, and the Bendu, as much as I would love it, I just don't know how realistic it is, and I don't know what type of budget they would need to bring something like that alive. So, but so it's just an interesting conversation, and you can just see like he's basically telling her like stories of this galaxy are considered folk tales, so they like know about it, like they know about this galaxy, but no one's ever been there. Think about it, like we hear stories about like the Milky Way, like well we are in the Milky Way galaxy, right? And there's other galaxies out there, but we never have been there. We don't really hear stories because there's no one's ever been there, and we're not space travelers yet, right? We should be living on Mars here in the next couple of years. We'll see about that, but I don't know. It's just really it's a great conversation. I wish I could just play it because it's so good, and Ray's so good in this scene, and I mean, and so is the actress for Shin Hati. But so, anyways, we're gonna kind of keep moving through here, and we finally get. Yeah, see, and he's even talking more about I may finally bring this cycle to an end because he's basically talking to her about like, yeah, like it's the Jedi, and then it's the Sith, and then it's the Jedi who run the thing, and then the Sith, and basically she's like, well, she's all pumped up about, okay, well, so is this like our time? Is this our time to do it? And it seems like he wants to. It seems like he wants to end it all almost. Like he's just like he's just like maybe we should just be done with this back and forth. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. These two have such a great rapport on screen. It's awesome. So we get a quick shot at Sabine, and then here she kind of starts using the Force. We think, and then you just hear a bunch of rubble and stuff, and it kind of looks like she might be trying to open the door. And then we get a quick scene back, and we get the amazing shot here of Thrawn's. Oh, there it is, Thrawn's Star Destroyer, absolutely epic. So this is the same one that the whales ended up taking when Ezra, and the whales and Thrawn all took off into these unknown regions or this galaxy. And then when we'll get some close-ups of this, and a lot of this is in the Thrawn books actually. And let's see if I can get a decent shot of it. So if you didn't notice, so you see all this gold. So this is all like they had to do all these repairs, and I don't remember the 100% correct name of the gold they use from the books, but this is basically how they repair it, and that'll come into play a little bit later on with some of the stormtroopers. So I thought it was really cool, and I know there's actually an undershot of the belly. There it is. So you have Thrawn's logo, and then you also will see some of the repairs. I thought it was really cool. It's really, really neat. What's up, Duck? Yeah, Umpty, you're 100% correct, and that definitely will lead to the theory. Yeah, I it's interesting, and then it all tied back to the beginning when I was talking about the look that Shin kept giving Sabine, but we'll get there. But this is just amazing. I love the shots, and then they kind of bring the ship around that little pedestal or that little whatever you want to call it, and they kind of drop around it. It's pretty cool. And then of course we're going to get the absolutely epic entrance of our first live action look of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And total Return of the Jedi vibes, of like when Palpatine arrives and they're kind of going through all the troops, and just it's really cool. I loved it. Absolutely great. And then you get to see some of the troopers, and I think they called them night troopers, if I remember correctly, which is interesting. But you can kind of see a little gold. A lot of these symbols have to do probably because of the Night Sisters. So a lot of the red, it's probably, and maybe that's why they're called the Night Troopers. I mean, that makes sense. And we get a new character, if I can grab it. So he's right here, and I believe his name was like Erock or something like that. And I'm sure it'll pop up on the screen. But there's your first look at Lars Estron. The eyes are beet red. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then again, the new trooper, he's like the commander or whatever you want to call him. I think it was like Erock or something like that. And he's got the gold on him and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Already is better than Phasma. Right. So, let's see. You would have thought he could come back himself once he repaired that destroyer. Yeah, but how? Using what power? where are they getting this power to go to the next galaxy? That was the whole point of the Purgle. That's why they did that. That's why they had to develop that, that huge ship that they took, Morgan and all those guys. I call them dirty troopers. Yeah. What's up, Pro Mike? After a bridge. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. But I just think it's great. I mean, what do you guys think about Thrawn? I can pull up the cartoon version really quick. I mean, like I said, I mean, at this point, Thrawn is probably like 15 years older, from the last time we saw him. Well, I guess it would technically be 12 years older. So I don't know I don't know when Thrawn was born and all that. But, let me see if I can grab a nice photo of Thrawn here. I'm actually going to keep this picture or something too. I actually found another picture I want to use because I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Let's see if I can find something good. You would think wouldn't be this difficult to find a decent picture. So there's some from the books. I'm trying to find one from the cartoon. Okay, here's that. This is a pretty good one. So I don't know. What do you guys think? So there's the cartoon version of Thrawn. So again, we're talking like 12-year difference, right? So obviously his face is more chiseled, and then, then we have Lars. So I mean, I don't know how old Lars Mikkelsen is, but I mean, he's got to be up there. I mean, we can look it up. So Lars Mikkelsen he was born in 1964. So we're talking like what? I don't know. 50, 61? Am I doing the math right? No, 59. So he's 59. Yeah. So I mean, it's about right. 12 years ago. So you're telling me in this picture he would have been, again, obviously the ages are never 100% accurate. But in this picture, then he would be like around 47, 45. I mean, shoot, dude, I'm 47. So I mean, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think it is. So anyways, I love it though. I loved it. The entrance was great. Actually got a lot more Thrawn in this than I thought we were going to. Love the interaction between him and the Night Sisters. Love the interaction between when he meets Balin and Shin. And I love it because, again, he's such a strategist, and he's like, wait, this is not part of the plan. Like, who are these guys? And it's funny because he knows right away that Balin was a former Jedi. He knows right away. It's great. So he obviously knew of him. And, when he looks at him at the one scene, and he kind of, if you look at it, he looks up and down at him. And I don't know if this is it. But it's right at the end when they leave. I must have just missed it because just watch his look. I just missed it. It's right there. So where am I at? 28. Go back a couple seconds. So I'm going to play it for like 5 seconds. So here, just watch Thrawn. I love it, dude. I love it. The look down. He's like, yeah, I don't really trust you, bro. I love it. I think that's awesome. Fix the wrinkles with some blue spackle. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's like the only a little bit of annoying part. But again, dude, he's like 60 years old. We should all be so lucky when we're that old to look that good. Yeah, I mean, I wonder why they couldn't, I guess, not CGI it out, because that would probably be expensive. I'm surprised they didn't kind of smooth it out. But again, maybe they're trying to show that he has aged. I mean, it could be that, I mean, you figure look at what Vader looked like when Luke took his helmet off. Now, granted, the dude was burnt. He wore a helmet pretty much this whole second half of his life, but technically, Vader's only like 55 years old, so he's technically younger, you know. So it is what it is. Yeah, he definitely does not trust them. Yeah, when I saw duct tape for welding, I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. I just think of the same thing. Yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know. But okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Think of it this way. So when Luke came back, in Mandal season 2, we all thought, oh man, Luke's back. And then you start seeing side by side shots and it's horrible. And I thought he looked better in Book of Boba Fett. So they definitely improved. And then again, think about when we saw Hayden come back in Kenobi. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was absolutely terrible. He looked way too old. And then they came back and fixed that too in the last episode. So there's always room for improvement. Thrawn will be around for a while. It's not like he's not like Ahsoka's not killing Thrawn by the end of the season. Like it's not going to happen. So he'll be around, and hopefully it'll get a little bit better. But again, it's just awesome to have him in live action, and it's if you watch Rebels, if you watched it, it's the same actor, so he knows the cadence of the voice, he knows the postures and the movement. It's awesome. So, but yeah, he definitely does not trust Balon. So kind of moving through the episode, this is a pretty cool thing because he's like, oh, Sabine Wren, I know that name. So they kind of interact here, and he kind of goes, well, he's like, well, yeah, you can go find Ezra. He's like, he's probably dead, but go for it. Kind of honoring what Balon told her to begin with. But we do see a small twist in that a little bit later on too. But yeah, he basically says, well, listen, you basically helped him. And this is the kind of person Thrawn is, though, even though he does kind of turn on her a little. He basically is like, listen, you basically helped them get to me, so I will help you with your quest. So that's basically why he lets her go. So that's the kind of character he is. And so they take her to a mount. After we're talking a little bit. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a loth wolf. It doesn't quite look like it to me. And plus, why would loth wolves be in a totally different galaxy? For me, I don't think it is. I just think it's whatever the planet has as far as these creatures. This is kind of one of the wolf type animals or whatever. But I definitely don't think it's a loth wolf because to me it doesn't make sense. Why would there be a loth wolf if they're from the planet of Lothal, right? Why would they be there? So I don't think it is. I don't know. If we'll ever find out unless they make a Funko Pop. So she kind of takes this wolf and they kind of let her go. And this is another good conversation. And I really like this character right here. Because he's like, nomads wander the wasteland and prey upon each other for survival. He basically says, good luck. And he does give her back all the weapons. So she ends up having all her armor, all her Mandalorian armor. She ends up with the lightsaber. She ends up with her blasters. No helmet. Because remember, the helmet was left with Hera. So she basically kind of takes off and continuing, and so she's not basically trying to find Ezra. And then here's Thrawn basically saying, okay, you can follow her at your own pace. And if she does happen to find Ezra, I want you guys to kill him. And then I can see Shin was like, wait a minute, what about your little loyalty to her? And basically Thrawn said, well, he's still being loyal and he's still his promise is still good because all she wanted to do was find her friend. So once he finds your friend, kill him. Like, yeah, he's like, so technically we're doing our part and then you just take him out. So that's kind of what it was leading up to a little bit there. He doesn't want her to go back to my thinking. SSO is an easy way to get her out of the picture, he thinks. Yeah. Yep. That's a good point. So Sabine is, and you can see it right here. Look at that look. Look at that look that Shin's giving him. It's like, what? Love it. A lot of good looks in this episode. A lot of good looks. Shin's just like, So they definitely don't trust him. I mean, God, look at this. Perfect. Look at that look. So Shin knows something's up. I don't think Balon, I don't know how much Balon is sensing like that Thrawn is like questioning him, but I think definitely Shin. I think Shin knows. So then we kind of, this part of the episode is very Star Warsy. We haven't really had any battle yet. So she does end up fighting these nomads. And they kind of look like, if you really look at it, remember Star Wars was very highly based on like Japanese culture and the fighting of samurai. And if you looked at the guy on the left, I mean, he looks like just like that. That you can tell these guys are inspired by that. And you can see here she's using her grappling hook, which is awesome because this is how she fought Kanan in Rebels when she was learning how to fight with the darksaber. And she's trying to combine the abilities that she knows and uses as a Mandalorian with the ability to use a laser sword. So it's pretty cool to see her using her blaster and her grappling hook here at the same time. So I thought it was a good little fight. It didn't last too long because she ends up taking out that lightsaber and kind of messes them up. And I think the one guy ends up running away. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about Sabine? Did you guys like her in the beginning? Were you annoyed? I was super annoyed, like the first 2.5 episodes, and then she's kind of grown on me. I definitely like her much more in this episode and even episode 4, much better than what she has been. So I don't know. I'm just curious to know what you guys feel about Sabine, because it's definitely growing on me. And I'm looking at the poll really quick to check in on it. So we have 10 votes and we have 6 people saying it's an A. We have 4 people saying it's a B, so that would average out to what, like an 86, 87%. So that's, yeah, I mean, that's about right. I would definitely give it like a 9.5 myself. It's tough because like last week I told Ryan, I said, oh yeah, 10 out of 10, Anakin, you gotta love it. And like I said, I mean, overall, I like both episodes. I think they're both great. The end of last week's episode, because I've watched that one like 5 times, right? The end of the episode is a little drawn out for me after rewatching it so many times. And maybe it's because I've seen it so many times now and I already know what happens. And I feel like sometimes I don't have to pay attention as much. But I feel like after the Anakin stuff, I don't want to say I get bored because I know what's going to happen. I just feel like it's drawn out. So as far as rewatching it, I love watching the Anakin stuff. It's so good. And then after that part's over, I'm kind of like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I'm good. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe I get. But again, I have seen it so many times. This I've only seen twice, and I love the dialogue. Absolutely, I love the dialogue. The next part of the next part here, it's okay. The next 5 to 6 minutes of what she does. So we kind of go back and forth between them, and we see that Thrawn is talking to Morgan, and and I love the shot of the map because that's kind of like it's such an iconic shot because it happens so often in Rebels where he's always right by that nice blue star map. It's so good. So basically, he's saying here it doesn't even matter if Rand and Bridger are here or they're killed or stranded. It doesn't really matter. Because again, the only way that they're going to get off this planet is by using Morgan's ship. And I think what's going to happen is if you look at the structure of the big, large circle, we don't quite know how large that is. I mean, we saw that all of those X-Wing fighters and Ghost were going through it when they jumped. So it's not like super huge, but I think that there's going to be some way they're obviously going to hook it to the Star Destroyer because I think the entire Star Destroyer is going with them. I think that's why it's made like that. So I'll be really curious to see if next episode or maybe episode 8, we get to see that. because for what reason are we making this thing in a huge circle? I guess that's what I keep coming back to. Like, why is it like that? Like, why are we making this like this? And if it's not going to store something inside of it. So I feel like it's going to be like going on top of like, or around the Star Destroyer. I think that was the whole purpose of this. Yeah, I agree. This episode gave us much more what we were expecting to happen last episode. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they got the whole Anakin thing, so we wanted to get Ahsoka back, and I think Ahsoka is gonna be heavily, in the last two episodes. Shin is a psychopath more than Baylan. Shin is going to explode eventually and kill everyone. Yeah, she's psycho. I love her, man. It's awesome. So, and then we kind of get the little continuation. She makes up with her little horse guy because he ended up leaving after they started shooting at her, the people that she took out. So, again, it's fine. It's Star Wars. I mean, it's cool. Again, maybe a little drawn on, I guess, but he ends up coming back to her, so she ends up using him. And then we, again, you can see how many, like, we're talking like basically, it's like 4 or 5 minutes of all that. And then they eventually stop here, and she's kind of sensing something. And then we get these little, what do you guys think about these little lobster creature guys things? I mean, they're definitely not as cute as Grogu, but there they are. So they call it, I mean, in the subtitles are saying it's a little noti. So, I mean, again, Star Wars. This is what Star Wars is. This is what it is, and I love that it's not CGI. We're working with puppets here, and this is what we all fell in love with. Back in with the original trilogy, with all those different creatures that George came up with. So, I like this. I like this scene. That the other part with the wolf, it just was a little drawn on. But that, I mean, again, we're nitpicking here. But I liked all this. And then we find out that so she's basically trying to explain who Ezra is, and obviously the dialogue, I don't think she clearly understands what he's saying. They make it sound like maybe she does, and I don't know, like, if this is a brand new galaxy, like, well, how would she know that language? Because it even sounds like she actually knows what the wolf is like communicating with her. It's a little strange. I guess, again, being nitpicky, it is a little weird that she's able to pick up on this language so easily, and he can easily, because this is only maybe 10 minutes of the entire episode, and she's like, "Oh, you guys know where Ezra is? Okay, let's go." So, I mean, again, it's weird, a little bit weird that it was that easy. But there's a better look at him, his big old nose, and these look like they have like Christmas lights on top of their antenna or whatever. So I don't know. Would you guys like these guys? That was probably Grogu's father. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely turtle enough for the Turtle Club. Yeah. Slap on some katana blades and we'll be good to go. Yeah, it's fine. It was fun. It was fun. And so they kind of continue, and then we see that Baylan and Shin are basically right behind her. And obviously, we're going to see what happens with this next episode because kind of cut off before that. But we see them, and they're kind of like, yeah, she used the lightsaber, and she's obviously still alive, and he's starting to kind of feel more stuff, and as they continue their little journeys following her, again, another great conversation. Just again, the dialogue between these two characters alone in this episode were great, and then on top of that, we get Thrawn. It's just so good, so good. And then they kind of see these guys from a distance, and because again, this is like right before he starts mentioning that he feels something like strong, or again, I don't know the exact words he used, but something like that. And then it's like, well, any enemy of Sabine would be a friend of theirs. So that's kind of the last part we see with them in the episode. So assuming that they're gonna hook up with them, and we keep going, and we get Sabine and the little turtle dudes, whatever you want to call them, I don't know, turtle lobsters. They take them to this little camp that they have set up, and what we get information on this is that they it's like a caravan. They travel around and they never stay in one place too long. And I think that's how they kind of say that, like, well, the Empire has a hard time finding them because they're moving all the time. Even though you have a huge galactic starship that you can fly around the planet with, but you know, I don't know. Being nitpicky again. And then when we get our first shot of live action Ezra, and a little Aladdin-y for me, a turtle trailer park, nice. I don't know. What do you guys think of Ezra? What do you guys think? Little Aladdin-y. I'm not digging the beard, which I understand why. I mean, again, it's been like 12 years, but like, if he's obviously been cutting it, or it would have been like Tom Hanks in, what is that movie, Castaway? So I mean, I don't know. So he's been obviously been trimming it up, and he doesn't have blue hair. His eyes are blue. I don't know if you guys noticed it. The eyes look good, and you can clearly see that this actor, and I forget his name. You can see that he is clearly studied Ezra, because again, the mannerisms, the cadence of the voice, I really, really like it. I just don't understand why there's no blue hair. I don't know. It's weird to me, because here's the other picture I wanted to show you. So let me share this page. So right here, I don't know how far apart. Like, I don't know when this was like shot, like in as far as canon, but you can kind of see. I mean, to me, his hair looks blue, and I know it's not the greatest picture of all time, but I mean, to me, it got a bluish tone, and maybe it is because of the light. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm a little disappointed that his hair is not blue. I mean, yeah, it was like one of his main looks, is that blue hair, blue eyes. So I don't know. It's interesting that they did this. I don't know why David do it. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe did he dye it? Where did he get the dye? I don't know. The local drug mart maybe, or something, and he dyes it to hide from the Empire. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some information. It's just an interesting little thing that I'm wondering why they did this. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Him not having that blue hair, because again, that's like one of the main traits, I guess, that he has, is that blue hair, blue eyes, and it always looked cool with the blue lightsaber in the early seasons. So they kind of do a little hugging and stuff here eventually, and there's actually even a little better look of him, and you can kind of see, if you look at his eyes close enough. If you blow up the image on YouTube, you can kind of see the blue. But again, you can clearly see it. This is not brown hair. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about not being blue. Just because he has blue hair doesn't mean he has to have a blue beard. They could have still put a little blue in here and then kept the goatee and beard. So I don't know. I wish it was blue. That's yeah. I mean, if you never watched it, then you wouldn't even have known, right? Until I brought it up. I mean, I can show you a picture of Ezra. Exactly what I'm talking about, empty. So this picture here is from. It's not huge, but yeah, let me see if I can find a better one. It's not very big. Man, Google is killing me today. So okay, so here's a picture of him. I'll just leave all these pictures up. You can kind of see the difference. So here is a picture of him. This is from seasons 1 and 2. So, I mean, it's pretty clear it's blue. And then this picture up here is from seasons 3 and season 4. This is actually the actor right here who plays him. This is maybe even a better picture. You can definitely see it's more blue. So I don't know. It's, and this is from the later seasons. And again, you can still see there is a blue tone there. So it's just interesting they changed it. I don't know why. And I'll be interested to see if they actually ever, mention why. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as besides looks, I like the cadence of his talking. He talks just like Ezra does in the cartoons. Really, really good. And I do think that we have something going on with him, though. And I don't know. There's a couple little weird areas here. So they do a hug right there. They're hugging, and we got the turtle crew all looking on. And then after that, there is like this one part that there's some awkward silence almost. It's weird. I don't know if it was done on purpose or if it's just bad editing. But to me, there's definitely a little scene, and I'm trying to see if I can get to it. I'm really having a hard time with this mouse today. It's a weird little. Let's see. It's like right over here. How did you get here? And then she's like, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, it's somewhere in here, but there's definitely a weird, like, little silence. And then he's kind of like, yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was weird. And then at the very end, 'cause I'm pretty sure this is the end of the episode for the most part. And so we get one more shot of Thrawn. He kind of invites her in, and he gives it's a weird look. Maybe I'm reading too much into these looks in this episode, but there's definitely a strange look that he gives. And of course, I'm not gonna be able to get it. It might be before this actually, but I don't know. It's just I just noticed those looks a little bit. I definitely think something is up, but also he said that he was ready to go back, and Sabine didn't want to tell him that she wasn't gonna be able to go back. Could be it. It could be it. I mean, you would think that she would get him and be like, "Yeah, listen, we gotta get back to this ship, or we're never leaving." So it's kind of weird, that why didn't she say that? I don't know. It's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, because I don't know why she wouldn't have just said that to him. And then we kind of go back to Grand Admiral Thrawn, and we get Morgan, and they're basically having a conversation, and it kind of ends. And I'll see if I can just play the end, because that's the most important part of this conversation, is what he says when it kind of closes out. So he wants them to use their dark magic. I shall once again require you the aid. I just gotta keep pausing it so we don't get copyrighted. Of your dark magic. And then the last line, and I missed it again. There you go. The threat of destiny demands in Grand Admiral. And that's what they say. And I thought he said something. Maybe that is the last. Maybe that is the last line of the show. The threat of destiny demands it. The Grand Admiral. Yeah. So basically, we're trying to figure out what this greater power is, and that that's basically the end of the episode. So basically, here's what I'm thinking, because I've kind of been rambling now for the last like 5 minutes, because it's so hard to get those words up on the screen. So here's what I'm thinking. I think Balin, I think he's going to end up turning good. I think they're going to find Ezra. They're going to find Sabine. And because of what Thrawn told them, it's like, eliminate them. Just eliminate them. Now, it's interesting because they sent them away. So are they waiting for them or not? So it doesn't really seem like they care. If these, because I think Thrawn actually mentioned that in that last clip to Morgan. He's like, it doesn't really matter if they come with us or not. It doesn't really matter. And I think Shin kind of caught on to that in that one scene when she's looking at him, that he doesn't really care about any of these people. Like he's worried about getting back. And because they know there's something bigger brewing out in this galaxy. And I think that Balin is, I think when they find Ezra and Sabine, and we're probably going to get that early in the next episode, I think that Balin is going to be like, yeah, we're not going to kill them. We're going to have to probably try to team up with them. And I think this is where Shin is going to be like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Even though she doesn't trust Thrawn, Shin, I think, is still definitely dark side. Okay. So I think Shin's going to end up killing Balin. I think that's how his story ends. I think they're going to have her kill him. And then she's either going to hightail it back to the ship and maybe fight off the other two as well. I mean, Ezra, how would he have a lightsaber? Obviously, Sabine has her, so he, which is technically his. So she could probably give it to him, and so we might get a little Ezra lightsaber action with Shin, but the dude hasn't swung a lightsaber in 12 years. We don't know if the Force is a thing yet in this galaxy. We haven't seen any of that, so we don't even know. We know the Night Sisters have magic, though. So I think it's something like, I'm gonna have to really write down my notes or write down my theory here, and then on next Tuesday before we watch the episode, I'm really gonna have it mapped out. But I just feel like there's something definitely going on there. I really think that Shin and Baylan are gonna fight. I think Shin will probably kill him, and I think that's how they're gonna end that. And how they're gonna all get back, I don't know. Yeah, Dan, actually funny you say that. I actually said it in the beginning. I'm like, dude, I really wanted to hear her stories. That's what I wanted to hear. I know. Yeah. Hugh Wang is he's becoming one of my favorite droids. I mean, he's much better than some of the droids we've gotten in other shows, like Solo, most annoying droid ever. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I gotta kind of map out this theory a little bit, but I really do think it's something like that's gonna happen. But Baylan's gonna kind of like I think Baylan still has more light in him than we think. I'm still curious to see if we're gonna find out who Shin is to him. Like, is it his daughter? Is it just some random person he found in this galaxy? It also seems like I know we had talked about this a couple lives ago. We had talked about possibly like Baylan when he left after Order 66. We kind of said, or I kind of said, or I don't know if it was me or Ryan, but we kind of had mentioned that we thought maybe like Baylan went to this other galaxy and this is how he met Thrawn. I get the inclination that he never met him. He maybe knows of him, but I don't think they ever met. At least that's what I kind of felt like in this episode. Like he calls him by name, but I think it's more because he knows about him because he was like a survivor of Order 66. So I don't know. It's interesting. The other thing I want to see too is, again, this is supposed to be running concurrently with Mando season 3. What I want to see is, are we going to get any type of link between what we see in the last 2 episodes? Because Gideon is talking about Thrawn in those episodes. And then we assume he died, which I still don't think he's dead. Gideon, I don't think so. I mean, he's wearing all that Beskar armor. Why would he just be able to die then all of a sudden? If the lightsaber can't cut through it, why would like fire in lava? I mean, so I don't think he's dead. And if he is dead, it's probably his clone, because that's why I think they showed the clones at the end. So, but I'm just curious to see, are we going to get any kind of like snippet of like Thrawn talking about Gideon at all? Like, is there going to be any mention? Because they obviously are working together, and I feel like Morgan is like kind of the link between them, because she's the one who kind of is making this this giant ship to go get him, and it seems like the remnants of the Empire is expecting Thrawn to come back, so they have to know all this plan. So I'm really interested to see if they link this at all in the last 2 episodes. The one other thing, I don't know if I talked about it yesterday, but I think it's the first or second episode of Mando season 3 when we see Grogu and he sees all the whales going. I felt like it was too early in the Ahsoka storyline for that to be happening that early in Mando, but it's possible. So it's possible they actually did see that, because the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, there's got to be a reason why they showed that. So it does kind of make sense. But again, if these whales are going all the time, it could be any bunch of them. But so I'll be interested to see if we ever find out more about that. Bo-Katan right now, what's Bo-Katan doing? Bo-Katan at the end of Mando season 3 or right in the middle. So they're basically they're probably on Mandalore right now. They're probably on Mandalore, and they're fighting the giant bird and they're doing all that crap. And at this point, they're probably in that last part of the episode where they're in Mandalore, they're trying to get Moff Gideon. During the council, Gideon was asking the general when Thrawn was going to show up. So I don't think he's in contact. So you don't think they're in contact at all? Okay. Yeah, I would have to go back and watch it. because I know they talked about Thrawn. So the council getting was asking when Thrawn was going to show up. So maybe I mean, Jeremy, you don't think they know of each other, or do you think they do know of each other? Gideon and Thrawn. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't even know how they. I mean, the Night Sisters were in contact with Morgan. That's how she was able to communicate. So yeah, I guess it doesn't really make sense because Gideon obviously wasn't around prior to A New Hope. So it does make sense that maybe they've never met. So I guess it does make sense. Now we don't know if Morgan was ever working with Gideon. That's the other thing. We don't know how that worked because we never see her. You know, she's only in that one episode. We assume she died, and then all of a sudden she pops up in Ahsoka. So yeah, I'll be really curious to see if they link this next week, or even or maybe in the finale, and kind of see if that's the route they're going to go, because apparently this is all supposed to link up to that movie. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, I know I got that Shin theory. I do think Shin is going to. I think it makes the most sense. I think Shin is very. Like Simon said, she's like a psychopath, and I think she wants power. I feel like Shin wants power. She wants to do what the Empire. She wants to bring the Empire back on the power. I guess I should say, and bring the Sith back. Even though technically she's not a Sith, at least as we know, the Sith to be. But I think Balin definitely has that Jedi mindset still, and he's kind of just doing what he needs to do to survive. And there's got to be a reason why that she's got that Padawan, the braid. Like, there's got to be a reason why. Like, it's something that he told her about or something, and so he told her to do that. I don't know. It's interesting, but I do think that I think she's going to become like the big bad, like the secondhand man, if you will, to Thrawn. Morgan, I think, is going to die in this season. I think Ahsoka will kill her. That's my other little theory for the finale, which we'll talk more about, a couple weeks. But I do think Morgan is going to die, because I do think Shin takes that place of that, like, in second control or whatever. And, and then, does she find somebody who's force sensitive? And I know yesterday we were talking about, is it possible that Jason falls to the dark side? Because that, again, he, Jason in Legends, or, in the expanded universe, was the son of Han and Leia, and he does turn to the dark side. And he's the one who actually ends up killing Mara Jade, which was Luke's wife. So, I mean, there's definitely some ways they can kind of bring it all together where it's not quite what Legends was, but it's still bringing different pieces. Because, I mean, we already got Thrawn. That's one huge piece. And I know he's a little different in the books. Like, I don't know if you guys ever read the books, he's definitely a little bit different in like the original Heir to the Empire books. He's not the same, kind of character as he is now. But again, remember, Timothy Zahn wrote that back in I don't even know what year that would be. It had to be in the 80s. I mean, I remember reading those books in high school. So what, Jedi was 83. So those books probably came out in 85, 86, 87, 88, somewhere in that range, 4 to 5 years after the movie's finished. And so he's kind of revamped Thrawn in the newer trilogies. I think there's 3 trilogies with Thrawn, dude. Like, it's kind of crazy. But the other thing I'll say before we get out of here, I want to go back to Ezra for a minute. So Ezra, because I feel like it is a little off. I think it's a little off. And I wonder if this greater power that they're talking about has, I don't want to say infected, but somehow got into Ezra. And maybe that's why he seems a little bit off to me. Again, it could just be live action. It would explain maybe why his hair is not blue. And why would Sabine not say, bro, why is your hair not blue anymore? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's something here. I don't know. I'm gonna jot down my thoughts on this and make a video for this weekend. I don't know. It's interesting to think about it though. I think Balin is gonna have to sacrifice something he loves for the Soul Stone. Stop it. Stop it. But I don't know, guys. I think that's all I have. I mean, we've been at it for over an hour. I don't know. I love the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are watching the show. I know you're watching it. Dan, I'm sure you're watching it. Anthony said he'll catch up this weekend. Everybody else that stopped in tonight, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Simon and Christina. I'm sure I'm going to forget somebody. I know Kenneth Bird was here earlier. Pro Mike was here. Duck was here. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I don't know. I'll be at Cincinnati Comic-Con this weekend, which I just reminded myself of. So I don't know if I can get a video out. I'll probably make it Sunday when I get home, and then I'll drop it on Monday. If I can get it out Sunday night, I will. But I'll probably structure it up tomorrow, and I'll probably film it Sunday when I get home. Yeah, and I'm meeting. It's kind of disappointing. Cincinnati is like 3 hours from me. It's just over 3 hours. So I was going down there originally to meet Matthew Lewis, who plays Neville Longbottom. And where's it at? I have it right here, actually. Because I'm going to have him sign my Neville for Harry Potter. And I was going to meet Tara Strong, which I've already met her once a long time ago, but I wanted to get a new autograph from her with a quote. And she just canceled because she doesn't feel good, they said. And then Ming Nang Wen was going to be there, who plays Fennec Shan, and she canceled like 3 weeks ago. Right? I bought her autograph, and it was supposed to be like a speed pass. Like you didn't have to wait that long, I guess. I don't know how they were doing it. And then like literally the next day after I bought it, they canceled. Now you get the money back and stuff, but like it kind of stinks that I was going down there for those 3 people, and now 2 out of the 3 have canceled. So, honestly, there's no one else really on there that I need to see because I've met most of those people already. So I was excited to meet 2 new people. But there's a couple panels. I know like Ashley Eckstein and the crew are down there from Clone Wars, so I'm sure I'll stop into their panel and see if there's anything new they can talk about. I mean, again, with these strikes going on, it's a mess. It just is. It's so unfortunate. Like when you're getting 90-minute episodes of Survivor and 90-minute episodes of The Amazing Race, like you just know there's nothing new coming out probably to next year at this point. I mean, I don't know how they filmed all the the series and stuff for like regular television, which I mean, I haven't watched one of those, and I can't even tell you how long. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like besides Survivor and like Hell's Kitchen, I don't really watch regular TV unless it's football. I really don't. It's just everything I watch is bingeable at this point, or a weekly drop. I guess if you want to count Walking Dead, the Daryl Dixon show just started. I enjoyed the first episode. I thought it was pretty good, but I don't know, guys. I'm kind of rambling, so I'm gonna get out of here. Brian, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while, man. How you doing? All right. I'm gonna get out of here. If you want to leave me your thoughts on Ahsoka, you can do it in the comments after the video ends. Oh, don't forget too, guys, from Patreon members and channel members, tomorrow night we're gonna do our hangout. Go over on our Patreon and vote for what time works best, because I don't know what time you guys want to do it. 9 o'clock seems to be late for like a few people, and then like 9 o'clock always seems to be good for people. I just want to get an idea of when you guys want to do this. I mean, I'm hoping that we can at least get most of you guys on there. So yeah, definitely check out the Patreon page, vote on the poll, so I know when to send out the link. And we'll just kind of hang out for like an hour, play some games, and just kind of hang out and chill. Maybe we talk a little Ahsoka too, face to face. So, yeah, I remember, dude. Yeah. Oh, so you moved in. That's cool, dude. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, you hung out with me for a while on the Harry Potter stream. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going, hey, you should move back in. You posted 9. Okay. Yeah, I'll see what other people have to say. And I'll let you guys know. So, all right, guys, I'm out. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. If you're not subbed, then the rewatch, come on in, sub on in. I'm 12 people away from 1K. 12 people, almost there. I appreciate it. Every single one of you guys that like and comment and watch these live streams and everything else. So I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you guys soon, and keep those heads on. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next video.